What is the greatest indicator of Jesus' voice? He said in John 10 that we would hear his voice. He said it 3 times. It's logical that inside of any relationship, you're going to hear the voice of the one you're inside of a relationship with. 1 Corinthians says we have been called into fellowship with God and with his Son, Jesus Christ. Fellowship means amicable relationship, friendship. Right? So, what is the greatest indicator of his voice? It's quality. It's not volume. It's not what's the loudest voice inside of you. It's not what is the clearest voice inside of you. Because you can hear, I believe your own heart will speak to you. A lot of people believe that you can hear other spirits speak to you. Right? People deal with mental illnesses in which they hear voices, could be their own mind. So, the big question is, how do you know when you're hearing Jesus' voice? You can just hear your own thoughts, right? And I happen to know from personal experience that when you think you're hearing God's voice, but you don't have an authentic relationship with him, then your mind can create that imitation. That's just personal experience. I knew in the past that we were supposed to hear God's voice, but because I didn't have an authentic relationship with him, my mind was reciprocating and going, okay, right? We'll just put together something that logically could be God's voice, right? Which was basically me and my knowledge of what I believed was right. But all these factors with all of these being factors in life as a human being, some people experience it more, some people experience it less. But those of us who are people of faith and we believe that we're supposed to hear Jesus' voice and those other possibilities exist, we need to know how to identify his voice. Okay? And the prime number one indicator is quality. The quality of the voice. Because what? He's love. God is love. Jesus and the Father are one. Jesus is love. Therefore, the voice is going to be a voice of love. Even if it's correction, even if it's discipline, even if it's rebuke, warning, which it's not always. I'm just saying that it can be, right? Because those are elements of love. So it's the quality. The voice will be a voice of love. And it has a rich, deep, his voice has a rich, deep quality to it that's not tonal. It's not one that you hear in your ears. It's one that you identify in your spirit. It will sound different spiritually than the other voices because it will sound deep and rich, loving and authoritative, no matter what he's saying. Because that's who he is. And people's voices are a direct representation of who they are. So if you want to know Jesus' voice, which we all need to know as his adherents, his followers, those who partake of him and all that he's done in his finished work, since we need to know his voice to live with him in that relationship with him, we need to know how to identify it when it's his. Now, obviously, there are those times when he'll just speak super clearly and you'll know it. But in my experience and in the experiences of those around me, I've found that that's not always the way it happens. I have found that because he's a spirit, he speaks spiritually, right? Oh, I should back up a little bit. And some people might hear his voice physically. It's possible, right? He can still speak physically if he wants, but it has been my experience that that's rare, right? He is a spirit first and foremost, right? It says in the book of Acts, the spirit, or the Philippians, the spirit of Jesus Christ, right? Obviously, we know he's first and foremost a spirit. He took on a physical body when he came to earth. So his voice is primarily spiritual. He can speak physically, but primarily he speaks spiritually, which is what we want anyways, because when you hear things in the spirit, it's much more convincing and real than hearing in the physical anyways. It's much more deeply convicting and settling to your spirit and to your soul. So, to recap, Jesus' voice is love, and it has the deep, rich, holy quality to it. And that quality is the number one prime indicator that you're truly hearing his voice. Thanks, and have a great day.